Do you believe at love at first sight? Have you ever fallen in love with something or someone from just the first time? Or was it the second time or the third time? Especially when we're talking about addiction. And I always compare being addicted to something is like being in a toxic relationship. Like, you know you shouldn't be with them. You know that this is really bad for you. You know that this is a really bad idea, but you keep seeing them, and it's a toxic relationship. The highs are really high, but the lows are really low. It's bad for you, and you know that there's something better for you, but you're still in it. And for us to, help you get over it and help you get over the addiction, we need to go from the starting point. We need to go from the first time you met, from the first time you had that drink, from the first time you had that vape, for whatever it is. Why? Because we want to understand what were you feeling before and how were you feeling after. Like, before you smoked the cigarette, you were a teenager, or the vape, you were a teenager, and you were feeling very suffocated, and you felt like you were being treated like a child, and you wanted to try something new. And then after you smoked, you felt like you were free, and you felt like you had this freedom. You felt like you're like an adult. You felt so much better. And even though it was really hard on your throat and you didn't enjoy it, but you felt like you were doing something bad and you were being rebellious, and that made you feel good. You like that feeling of freedom that came with that vape. Now we know, hey, this is what you are getting from it. And when we have that story of how things started, we are able to go back in time to talk to that version of you that is about to try it for the first time. It's simple. Okay, so you have, let's say the first time you tried your vape, you were 15 years old, okay? And now you are 25. So 25-year-old you is going to go back in time to go speak to 15-year-old you. I know that sounds a bit bizarre and a bit weird, and you're like, how does that work? But in your imagination, it can work. And I want you to tell 15-year-old you everything you wish you knew back then. Have a conversation with the past you that tried whatever you tried for the first time. This activity, especially if it's the first time that you are doing it, is going to be a bit weird, but take some time. Sit in a dark room before you sleep is best, without being distracted by TV or whatever, and play with your imagination, and just go back to that moment in your head and imagine yourself going into that park or your friend's room or that staircase or whatever it is, wherever you first tried that addictive substance, and speak to you. Talk to you. So for today, I want you to do two things. I want you to first see what were you feeling before as the 15-year-old you. How are you feeling after? Before you tried the addictive thing, after you tried the addictive thing. The second thing that I want you to do is to go back in time in your head and speak to the younger version of you that already or was about to try it, and have a conversation and let me know how it goes. I love you. See you on the other side. My mental health startup, if we get along or you think we would get along, mental coaching is available here. And see you tomorrow.